three, six. Hello, good afternoon, good evening, wherever are you today. I'm very excited. I know you had my face already for the last. This is my third live webinar for today, but now it's very different because I am very fortunate to have my friend with me to say yes on this interview. Welcome to Working Moms Academy's Working Moms Success Stories. This is live interview episode 5. Yes, I have a lot of recorded interviews, but this one is something that live that I really want to do more because at the end of the day, there's a lot to learn from other mothers how to become successful at work. So today, I'm sorry for my signal. I would like to introduce to you my friend Erlea Rondario. Before I bring her on stage, let me talk more about Mama Le of how I remembered her. She is my friend for 21 years now. I was counting the years. I was like, oh my God, we were friends for 21 years now. I first met her on my first job in Punong Bayan in Orolyo, also called Ernst and Young Manila during our time. I remembered Mama Le as one of the nicest person I met because coming from the province and being, exposed to a lot of people who I don't know. And from our batch, there's a lot of people who were hired from UST. And I mean, coming from the province, I have that insecurity of, oh my God, I felt like I did not belong there because, I'm at like alien, I'll say. And there's a lot of people who are already friends because they are all from UST. But there was one person who approached me and asked me about my name. And she was very kind, very gentle. And whenever, from then on we became friends. Whenever I see her on the corridor, she will smash me into hugs. That's how I remember her. But as time goes by, I was able to go to Dubai because of her also. I asked her one question. There was a time in 2006. I was feeling exhausted with my job in Intel already. I was thinking, I cannot survive living like that and working, nonstop, just having breaks in between for lunch, for breaks, and working and working. I'm gonna kill myself in the process. So I sent her a message on Friendster. Imagine, it's still Friendster. I sent her a message. I said, "Mama, how's Dubai?" And she said, "It's good here." And that opened up the opportunity for me to send her my resume, and she forwarded to one of my colleagues in Emirates Airlines. And that led to me being in Dubai. And fast forward to today, it's now 12 years that I think I'm here, yes. But see, I think one of the things I learned from Mama Leia, if you speak to her, you can feel so much calm, so much peace. That's why in my StreamYard event link, you can see her superpower, I think, is peace and calmness. I'm always very hyper, but when I speak to her, I immediately shift my energy to calmness and peace because I think that's the best gift that she has. And today, I want to interview her because I want to learn more. How did she become so successful at work and at home, also raising a family of her own? And earlier, I think she will give more information how long she's working abroad. But of course, I think more than 18 years now, she worked internationally. She is currently in Canada. So you can imagine the time zone. So we're very thankful that she said yes. So she's now in Canada as the CFO of consumer section for Johnson and Johnson. And let me bring her on stage so she can talk more of who she is, what she do, and let's get to learn more about my Mama Leia, Erlea Rondario. Yes, Mama. Ano?
Hello.
How many years ka na nga? How many years are you, I mean, working abroad, out of the Philippines?
Yeah, so I celebrated my 15 years with J&J last month in April. So all in all, it's 19 years.
Wow, 19
Yeah, yeah,
years. So almost half of your life you're working abroad.
yeah. It's
Right?
half of my life working abroad, um, and then also working alone because I'm the rogue one from the family who left the Philippines. So all
Oh,
of my siblings and my parents and most of my relatives are in the Philippines, and so is my husband. So it's been strange, but exciting, fun, challenging, and all of the above.
True, because I've seen you. She has, Mama is so much internationally acclaimed. I mean, she has worked with many countries. She's been assigned to UK. Now she's in Canada. She's been here in Dubai for a while. But other than being in Dubai, she worked with a lot of countries. I mean, managing Egypt, I remember, in other Middle East countries. So now
Mhm.
let's go to the questions. So my first question, Mama, you've been working, I mean, we're working for 21 years, right?
Mhm.
What is your favorite part about working?
Favorite part. This is cliche, but I will say making an impact because I do like working with people. I think the best part of me traveling and going to the international moves that I've had is meeting a lot of different cultures, learning from them, being them at some point in time, but giving them a taste of our personalities as Filipinos as well, and the blend of that. But I've stayed with J&J because of its credo, what the company was all about. So even though I am in finance and I'm not in sales, I'm not a scientist or in research and development, I knew what my role was in the bigger picture of the company. So that's what really attached me in work.
Oh, I mean, you can see the value in what you do. I mean, that is very meaningful, right? I think a lot of people are lost because they cannot see the value they give in an organization. And if you can really see that, feel that, that's why you're in J&J for 15 years. Wow, that's
Yeah.
really a lot, right?
Yes, indeed.
But I know working for 15 years in J&J, having, I think Riona is now 10, 11, right?
She's 10.
She's 10. And
A
working for
year a year younger than Gabby.
True. See, even our children are also friends. And she'll always call Gabi Ate Gabi also, right? And I
Yes,
think
that's
until,
right.
I mean, in touch with communication, I think in Google or whatever, Gabi will always tell me, Rihanna, send me a message like that. So she will report. So, I mean, having this career as CFO, I know, I mean, if you look at it, they said there are very few women in the senior management position,
Mm.
and you are one of those. And I know it's not, I mean, it's a marathon to get there, right? It's not an overnight process. And I know there are challenges as a mother, as a leader. So, how did you do it? What are the challenges, and what do you think? What did you do to achieve whatever you have now?
That's a big question. And just for whoever is listening for with us today, this is not something I do, and I told Wanda about this. There's a lot of nervousness coming into this call, but just to say with you, Wanda, you are also very calm and very nice on your question, so it's very easy to answer that. So I would say I am not the only CFO in J&J, right? I think I'm the CFO for our J&J Canada consumer business. I think I'm one of many that tries to be in a leadership position. But I think back to your question, it wasn't easy. I have to say that it wasn't easy at all. Nor did I even imagine that I would reach a position like this. Because we've been chatting before. All we wanted is to leave the Philippines, work hard, earn money, and come back in 2 years. And both of us didn't come back in 2 years. And we come back for vacations and everything, but something about international travel and being an expat really took us in. So that was my goal, was to earn money, send support to the Philippines, which every overseas Filipino worker started from. And I think the career path came as a result. I think it's a combination of aspiration. So I won't deny it wasn't, in the sideline, but it wasn't there in the early stages. So aspiration. Number two is your drive, I would say, opportunity and the network that you have. Because I have been very fortunate to be surrounded with colleagues, managers, and mentors that have helped me in my career. Particularly those who challenged me, because I am the person that says, no, I'm not good enough. I am not ready for a role or a promotion, nor would negotiate a salary as well. And I've learned that through the years. So I would say it was a learning process. But at the end of the day, one thing I would really call out is my husband knew what I could be before I realized I could do that. So when we were tasked with the question, are we ready to move to the UK for my first regional role? I wasn't ready. I wasn't sure. We were leaving Dubai, very comfortable, friends and family that we've established. But he said, and he was leaving his job as well in Dubai. So he took that sacrifice for me, switched careers because he said, it's something that we will do as a family.
I love that. I remember I also interviewed one lady. She's also in finance. Baby with I forgot the last name. Baby Baby Weeds. Weeds as I call her. I think in every family there's always, she said, my career is not my own. It's because of the work that I have with my husband, agreeing of what to do, how to manage the family. So I think, salute to Romel, right, for really making that sacrifice, and of course for supporting you in everything. But Mama, what's your advice? I know I met a lot of mothers. They always have this anxiety of, if I get promoted, I will have less time with my children. I'm scared of the role. They also have that inner voice that I felt that I am not good enough
Mm.
to be in that role, to be a manager. So they just played low. They didn't even bother to go for a managerial position. They didn't even mind asking. What do you think they should do? If they're afraid to step up on a leadership position, what's your advice to them?
Um, Maybe two things, and I'll leave the third at the end. But first thing is build yourself with capabilities that you will be confident to apply for promotions, managerial roles, or leadership roles for elements. Because confidence starts within yourself. So
Hmm.
no one will give that to you or gift it to you or give that essence of value aside from yourself. So I think capability building, knowing your strengths are, knowing your development areas. And I've learned recently that as much as we've renamed development area or weaknesses in some ways, the emphasis of knowing where your strengths are and really capitalizing on that is a bigger role versus a development area because they go in hand in hand. Um, so capabilities and learning. I'm sorry I sent you a bio that was really full of pictures, but I don't know how to best describe. I'm good at numbers. I'm not good with creative language. But I did have one thing I'm very proud of that bio, which is my personal brand. And it took me years to establish my personal brand because there's a lot of things on the websites and there's workshops and developing your personal brand. And my personal brand is 3 words, and that's what I'm more comfortable with. And I said it's learn, earn, return. So first part is really I started for making sure that whatever you're gunning for is an aspiration of a position. Make sure you're ready for it, and you don't need to be ready 100%. And for me, 51% was actually enough. Not even a passing grade of 75 because I know I had a majority position of making sure I have a success or will have a success when applying for a role because I've got my confidence in. Second is that when given the chance, right? Not every role that I applied for, I got right. So while it is a success story, and when I do leadership talks or talent talks within the company, while I say my career path, I also share when I failed, like when an interview didn't go well, when I was told no for a position that I really really love to do, but someone else was more competitive or got it. So I learned from what did I miss or what area. So maybe that role wasn't meant for me and I need to go for a different function. So I don't discourage myself when a door closes down or I hear the no. It's like no for now. That's my kind of repertoire in making sure that I go back. But when I'm given the chance, though, I go running, and that's my second personal brand, which is earn, because someone took a risk in me, and I think most of my roles within J&J, where I moved and got promoted in the UK, I'm pretty sure there was better people than me, but they saw something in me, and I capitalized on that and made sure that I earned that opportunity of gaining the role, their trust, their confidence, because it's now outwards. First of all, you gain confidence yourself. Now, how do you place that confidence in outwards? Earn their trust, earn their confidence, reliability, and then most of all, I think as I grew into my career, which is my third personal brand, which is return. I know I've been fortunate. I know I had learnings, and I want to make sure that as part of my continuous learning is that I impart what I've learned. I mentor, I coach in some ways, but I mentor people that I don't say my success story, but try to build a theme when it comes to what does it take to go to a leadership position. You have to be ready, you have to want it, and you have to make it known. And I think the third one I would say is that I was shy in making it known with my managers, with my leadership team. I was very fortunate that people saw a potential in me. And I think through the years, I've matched potential with my communication skills of, yes, I'm capable.
I love that. Learn, earn, return. I think, you know, I agree with you. You cannot be confident if you don't know anything, right? At least, they said your inner world creates your outer world. You cannot be confident to speak if there's nothing on your head. So, but I think it is important that you continuously learn. You also give your best, as you said, you earn, right, and also return, you give back. I am a believer of, when you teach others, it actually magnifies your learning more because you get to
Mm-hmm.
repeat what you learn and you get to pass on and teach others more. Now, Mama, let's talk about challenges as a mother. I
Mm-hmm.
know when the baby comes, there's no manual how to be a mother, how to be, a working mom, how to juggle life and career. How did you manage it? Because I can see how much also Riona have grown into a very responsible, she's a critical thinker, right? And she's very creative. So what's the secret? How did you do?
Well, first of all, I didn't do it alone. So I won't even claim pride. I'm very proud of my daughter, but I wouldn't take the credit altogether for sure. Um, how do we start? I fully agree. There is no book to prepare a mother or a new mom to a world that she's not ever prepared for, because you learn every single day, because you learn with the person, you're the son or the daughter that you have. Because while you have guidelines in a book, or and us here, right, just make sure that you do a check-in of yourself and a check in with your child, because that combination is always going to be unique, and it won't be exactly the same as a reference point. So I hope for the listeners of your amazing community, and I am an avid watcher of your live streams as well. I'm thanking for those who have shared. I think the first thing I would say, be a kind mother. Be a kind mother to your child, but be a kind mother to yourself. Because if you put pressure that I'm not like this person, or the one I watch on the TV or in YouTube, or something I've read in the book, you'll never be as good as you want to be. Because I think that's the part I've learned. Because a famous quote or tagline for us is mom guilt. I think that is very natural. So not that fathers don't have guilt, but I think the degree of mother guilt is higher than a father. But I would say guilt is a natural emotion. It means that you care. It means that it's a check-in that you might not be spending a lot more time or attention to your child. So I actually check in with myself, and I embrace the guilt that I have. The difference though is I don't stay there long, because I kind of realized that my work is very demanding, and I am a performer, and I won't shy to say I am in some ways tries to be a perfectionist but never achieves that. But then the check-in of guilt says that, hey, pause, because you're not performing your best self because you have that guilt. And you actually, personally get my energy from my family. So,
Mm.
like the laughter of Catriona, which you've heard from before, her beautiful smile, that's the energy I actually take every single time I come to the office. So I have to, the strategies I've done is that I do a check-in every single day and every single week. And you think that that's troublesome to like do your, evaluate your performance as a mom every day or as a worker every day, but it also gives you that checkpoint that says, hey, I didn't spend time with Catriona today. I'm going to make sure I make it up tomorrow. And then if I've been working really hard over the week, I have to secure my weekends. We have a date. We have a mom and daughter date, and of which she asked for, and sometimes I ask for because I'm really yearning for that quality time. But yeah, I think be kind to yourself, be kind to your son or daughter. Treasure the time that you have with them because it's never the length of time, but the quality of time that you give them. They know when you're fully attentive and fully present with them, and they know that you might be beside them, but you're thinking about work, you're thinking about what to cook, thinking about your errands. They actually know, and regardless of their age, they know that feeling. They have that instinct for you as a parent. So make sure that you check in with them and also ask them, right? And I know you do this a lot with Gabby and Sam, right? You ask them, you listen to them, and when you actually listen, they have knowledge that we don't even realize, especially this generation now. So there's a lot that I learned from Catriona, I learned from the other kids as well, but making sure they have the freedom to speak, the freedom to complain, the freedom to ask for things, and we do as parents to say no, say yes, and spoil them whenever they're deserving.
You drop a lot of nuggets of wisdom. So I was thinking which one I'll pick up. But I think what I love the most, you said, guilt is normal. I thought when I left my corporate job, and become a housewife, my guilt will go away. But even when I became a housewife, I mean, I got so much busy in the house, I actually have less time with the children. And I was thinking, oh no, I thought housewives don't have the mom guilt. And then I moved into an entrepreneurship role. And I was thinking, maybe my housewife mom guilt will go away. But it's still there. And I learned that
Mm.
regardless of what stage you are, guilt is a common emotion that you need to embrace. Because
Mm.
as you said, you need to check in with yourself, need to check in with your children. What is that guilt telling you to do? And I also learned the guilt is really only mine. Because when I ask my daughters, and I always ask Gabby and Sam, is mommy a good mother? I will always have this drama. Is mommy a good mother? It's like, I felt like I'm not a good mother. I'll ask them always, what can mommy do to be a better mom? And I'll say, nothing, mommy. You're perfect as you are. I was like, oh. I was telling you, do you just want to please me? See, I don't. But I think it's a lot of convincing and embracing that emotion that you have and following what yourself is telling you to do, and having that conversation with your children, as you said, give them the opportunity to express themselves, to complain, and of course to spoil them, right? They always say, mommy, you don't need to buy me this. And I was like telling them as well, when I was younger, I didn't have it, so I want to give it to you, but if you don't
Mm.
want it, it's also okay. But it's just mommy's way of pampering you. I will always tell them, I am working so I can give you this life that I envisioned for myself. But if this is not what you want, I'm also okay with that. So if you don't want me to buy you things, I'm okay.
Yeah,
So
and I think what you said was really true, and I know you have a series of um, tips for physical health like exercise and what to eat. I think mental health, which is what I love about this new generation, is they're not shy nor consider mental health as a taboo conversation. So the feeling of guilt is one emotion, like anger, fear, nervousness, love, all of that are fears that we need to recognize. And then what is it for? Because as humans, God created us with a physical ability and able to learn, but He also gave us a very strong mind to actually receive emotions, how to react, and how to overcome them as well, right? So too much of everything is dangerous. But I think recognizing when you feel something is really good. And I think I would be remiss if parenting is mentioned to be just a mom job, but it's a partnership, right? So what I miss is to say that when I'm not able to be with Catriona, I know and I'm confident and Rommel will be. And whenever he is very busy and he has to dedicate his time with his work and his business, then I'll make sure that I'll be there. I'll take off. I'll be informing my work that I won't be, this period of time or this secured time in a day, because my husband needed me to back him up. And I know he's there to back me up.
I like that. I don't remember who I interviewed. She mentioned the same concept. If you look at parenting as a partnership, then it will always be also an easy ride. So
Mm.
let's talk more about this parenting, this mommy role. I mean, as you were working, what is that number one? Can you tell us, share, if you can remember, what was the most difficult decision you had that impacted family and work at the same time? Because we normally have that. Like, I remember when I was leaving my job, then I was thinking, you have, I'm very happy that I'm leaving my job, but at the same time I'm scared. I was very scared of leaving the career I built over the years just to do something I don't even know if I'm good at, which is to be a housewife. And but I also learned that, you can always reinvent yourself. It doesn't stop there. What's the most difficult decisions or any event, I mean, that you had as a working mom?
I think the decision to move out of Dubai and go
Mm,
to Canada, while, one would say, are you crazy? Why would you even not consider going to Canada? Um, but it was, a really great opportunity in a role that I was moving into, very supportive company. But what people don't realize, moving countries, as much as that is, a really good story to tell, when you're in a new country, and you've experienced this multiple times as well, right? When you're in a new country that you don't know a lot of people, you don't have the support system at the beginning, culture, ways of working, taxes, and all of that good stuff. But I think the underrated element of moving is the connection we have with the people that you're leaving behind.
mm,
So when we left Dubai, we had a family, or we still have a family in Dubai. Ramel's brother and his family and extended family were there. So though I was, and myself and Rommel were the only ones at the beginning, he was very fortunate that his brother and his sister was able to come to Dubai. So Catriona learned the concept of an auntie, an uncle, a
yeah.
cousin. Catriona in Dubai, she stayed in a really good school and built friendships. Rommel started his business, and which is doing really well in photography with his brother. There was a lot that was really working well. So when you think that, when we came back to Dubai after the UK, we started again from scratch. So we built a
Mm,
community, reconnected with friends. We have our family, we have a business going. We were very comfortable. So why shake that comfort that you have? And a person now that a person which is Catriona, which I think she left Dubai at 7 years old, where
mm,
she is very communicative. She knows what she wants. She tells you what she's developing. So when we asked her, "Are you okay to move?" She said no. So that was, and I wasn't ready for that answer, because I was kind of have in my back pocket, say, the really great things of what she learned. But she had built friendships. She has a best friend. She
mm,
has Gabby. She enjoys her birthday parties on the weekend, and her parks visits, and all of the above. Because when we started moving, she was 2 years old. She didn't know. And when
yeah.
we turned back in Dubai, she just said, "Why is it hot here?" And it was cold there, and was raining a lot in the UK. So her concept of moving was very different from the time that we chose to move to Canada. And I had to we had to explain to her why it is good for the family, and it rebuilds her strength to get to know other people again, build a new culture, practice introducing yourself and creating new bonds. So in the beginning, it was hard. It was hard for her. It was, it's like grade one where you have an emotional child. It's like she's in a different world of people, very diverse classmates, but she's not familiar with. So I think for me, that's where my mom guilt hit the hardest. Is that, am I doing this for the family or am I doing this for me? But
Mm-hmm.
I think that was my first thought. But then it really turned out it is for the family, because it's not about convincing yourself, but asking the right questions again. Are we doing the right decision? Or are we making the right choice for our daughter, for my husband, and for me? And when we tick all the three boxes, that's only when we move. But when she said no, that was something as a reality. And I continued to work on it for many months during our first year. And, I helped her. We made sure that, she still has connections. She has Zoom calls with our family and her friends. And, we started with that as well until she, encouraged herself to do so. So we have to not forget the natural resiliency of our children, because sometimes we overthink it as well. It's like, no, my child is going to be scarred. My child is going to be not recover. No, they have a natural power to actually blend in and really encounter new experiences on their own. But let them take their time.
I fully agree with you with I mean moving four times moving four times for the last 5 years was really challenging. I remember when I always tell the family, oops, we're moving. Sam is the one who will always say no. And she will cry. But she's the one who will always enjoy it the most. So
Yeah.
when I tell her, baby, we might be moving again, she will say no. Then I will tell her, can you recall what happened in the last moves we had? It's like, oh yeah, I love it. It's like, okay, mommy, I'll just pause and I will not say no. I'll just think about it. I think children, as you said, Gabby is even asking me, mommy, when are we moving again?
Mm.
Yes, then, mommy, I'm getting bored already. Are we moving countries? Like, wow. So I think I agree with you. The resilience of the children is very different, right? I mean, I think I took more time adjusting than my children, and I think it's always like that. They're very flexible for that matter. So, Mama, let's talk more about you now. What motivates you every day? What keeps you going to do what you're doing? I mean, what keeps you awake at night, and what keeps you joyful to wake up in the morning?
Oh, that's another big one. What motivates me in the morning? Every time I wake up, I pray, because especially in this pandemic, even if it's not a long prayer, even if I'm laying down, I close my eyes and say, thank you, you woke me up today. Because then it means that you're still giving me a chance to do my mission as a person, as a mother, as a daughter to my family, to a sister, as a wife. So I think when I'm very hard on myself, so I will not be shy to say that. But I always say that I have another chance to be better than yesterday. So
Hmm.
whenever I wake up, so and that could be at work. I do a lot of work presenting, leadership talks, but also representing Canada in the global scheme. So there's a lot of pressure per se, but I really am surrounded by really great talent, both the managing board, but also my personal team in finance. I'm really surrounded by really good people. So I just need to do my part and let the talent go as is. And then other than that, I am thankful because I'm fortunate. Not only being alive, but having the opportunity to actually have a good job, even though it's one. Catriona is plenty. So,
I know.
and she's. I think with her personality, I'm always encouraged to do better as a mom because I have to keep up. Our children in the in the school system right now, they know more. And when I look at their homework and their curriculum, I don't believe I did that at grade 5. And then similarly for my husband, right? My husband is really has ventured differently this past year, so I won't share a lot about that. But now it's his time. Now he's given a lot of support for me this past years. This is my time now to give his chance to really build his career, and he's always built his career, but we were having a right balance. And I think this is the point in time that what does 5 years look like, and our motivation is we want to retire early.
Mm.
And I think I'm not the only one in this group that thinks about that. That's probably everyone's dream. No one dreams about when I'll receive pension at 63 or 65, right? No one does that. But how can we make it happen? And similarly, because we're outside of the Philippines, my thought every day is our family back home. So
Mm.
my sister, which is Catriona's best friend, the other best friend, adult best friend of Catriona, because she's really been, instrumental making sure that Catriona is well versed with the family in the Philippines. My mom and dad, while I don't talk to them every single day on a Zoom call, but they have learned text now in Facebook
Wow.
Messenger. So even if they don't respond, I like message them to say hi, hello. So for me, that's my joy. Like it doesn't mean that every single effort you do is responded back equally, but as long as you're happy in what you're giving out, that's enough, because the return for me is what I do every day. I'm alive. I have family. I have opportunities, and I have a voice. And I will continue to make sure that I'm reminded that I'm blessed, and make sure those blessings are shared out.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I think, everybody has the team. I remember I used to write in my office desk, retire happy, healthy, wealthy, and early. So I think nobody wants to work for really a very long time. The world has changed, dynamics have changed. There's so many things we now understand that matters more, right? Now we're almost towards the end of the conversation. Can you share a funny story? I mean, as you juggle motherhood, and work, can you share a funny story that you forgot something? I remember one of my co-founder, Fabian Baker, her funny story. She said I think they were assigned in South Africa at that time, and then she was called to go to the hospital because something happened to her daughter. So she ran, but she was very confused because they were sending her to 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 a room which has a man, and he was thinking, it's not my son, and my daughter is the one who had a problem. And then when she went to the hospital, she said because his husband collapsed when he saw the blood of her daughter. So she was saying, those are fun moments you will always remember, that something happened, but it's not actually the daughter, it's the husband. Can you share any funny story when you're juggling, motherhood and care? Do you have any?
Oh goodness, it's hard to think about really sudden right now. I think from it's slash funny slash stressful slash learning, because so this was our trip to Manila in December 2019, which we're very fortunate that we had the chance to go there and spend Christmas with the family. But what I do remember, I was coming off on that same day. It was a working day, so our
Mhm.
flight is in the evening. It's a 13, 16-hour flight. Sorry, 13 is to Dubai and 16-hour flight direct from Toronto to Manila. So we were rushing out. I came from work, and I was preparing more about that rather than preparing our bags for Philippines for like 2 to 3 weeks. And Rommel came out from his job as well, so we came home late, packed like 2 to 3 hours, and then making sure that we're ready for our flight. And then we had one bag that was our essentials, like
Of
one check-in bag that housed our essentials, the most important. Like we mix clothes up, It has our medicines, my contacts, my, a little bit of papers here and there. But, you have that out of all of your baggages, of many baggages as a family that you have that one bag that's
Yeah.
very important. So with all of the rushing, our pickup came out, and then we realized at the check-in counter in Toronto, we were missing that one important bag,
Mm.
and we were battling. Okay, we can come back. It's like 2 hours. We checked in early, it's 2 hours traffic, and then we didn't want to risk it. So Ronald was saying, "I'll go." And then you guys check in, and then that's what's one thing is like, no, it's one bag. I'd rather have you together with us in the state rather than a very important bag and miss that bag and yourself. But I think the portion is that the funny thing there is that when we reached Manila and realized, and we were stressing all the way what's in that bag, what's in the bag, da da da, you actually don't need it because
Ah,
everything in that bag was material things. Like you
ah.
can definitely buy medicines. It was having my like first 3 days favorite shirts and clothes and dresses in Manila. It has Catriona's favorite books and toys in that bag, but still they're material. And I think in the first day when we were all laying down and we were missing things in that bag, and then we kind of hugged, we hugged in that bed and said, the three of us is all we need. That
Mm.
was kind of me a funny, realistic story in a way that why did we stress so much for that material thing? And then I think for me, right, it's the theme of being minimalistic and big houses, small house, expensive clothes, not expensive clothes. It was one of those times that you remember things are not that important, and the people that I was looking on my right hand side was Rommel, and the left hand side, or maybe in the middle, was Catriona. I don't know what the sequence was, but that's where I thank God I got what I need.
Hmm. I love that story. I think, stressful moments always give us lessons, right? That,
Mm-hmm.
you might be thinking of something, but as long as you have everything you need, everything will be okay. Now, last question, Mama. What are your 3 steps? If you were going to give some tips, what are tips? I know you already said to succeed, you need to learn, to earn, return. Is there any other tip that you wanna give to other mothers who are forging their career, their path? What is your advice so they can be successful at home and at work also?
Yeah, I think I would go back to so don't forget to be kind to yourself in whatever situation, as a mom, as a professional, as a family member, whatever that situation is. I think that's very universal, regardless if you're a mom or not. I think there's the difference input because that is what we said about was mom guilt is very natural. I would say resiliency goes in many ways, and my R&R, which is to be resilient, is recognizing um, what reward fulfills you. So for me, my essence of when I embrace my emotion, when I'm very aware what that looks like, I reward myself because sometimes when you do it like I want to be promoted because I want to be seen by people that I've achieved it, I've made it, right? You forget that you're actually doing it for yourself and for the people that you love. That that kind of element, because sometimes you do something, and that's where I've learned through the years. I do something without an expectation of return because I can reward myself in that way. So if it's not filled by the people you expect them to be, fill it yourself, and or fill it with God's love, right? So I think in that aspect, that fills you up very easily. So I will enjoy my favorite food. I will order my favorite bubble tea. I will watch a movie that inspires me or makes me laugh. Even my husband was telling me like we watch old movies of Tito Vic and Joey. If that is just because I think maybe because we're getting old, and we like music, but don't forget to reward yourself if someone has missed to do so, and fill up your toolkit with things that recovers you when it comes to resiliency. So resiliency is not just recognizing where you are, what you want to achieve, but creating a path for you to do that. Always make it simple. It's never tough, nor it doesn't need to be profound and majestic. The solutions you have, it's really those simple things. And then when you've achieved one, it's always one foot after the other. And then when you learn to that, you gain more toolkit, and you're having listen to other people. They don't set your direction, you set yours, but you can't do it on your own, because that's why learning was so important, right? Listen to other moms, listen to other leaders, listen to success stories, but listen to failure stories too, because that's what I've been yearning for throughout the days. Because the ratio of failures are larger than successes, and the only thing that misses in the success is where you actually failed first. And I'm not afraid to fail. I'm not afraid to be said, marked down, underestimated. I have a plaque behind me that says, "Underestimate me, that will be fun." Because that's how I've overcome resiliency, overcome disappointment. Is that I know there's always going to be a better way.
I like that sharing, especially when you said underestimate me.
Yeah.
It's like- but I think I agree with you. Resilience is very important and rewarding yourself. I always used to wait for others to make me happy. But I learned that I just need to be my own source of happiness. Then the happiness will always overflow for myself and for others. So,
Mm-hmm.
Mama, thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for saying yes to this interview. I look forward to having more interviews with you and with other mothers, learning how to become more successful at work and at home. Again, for those who are watching us on live, on replay, this is the live interview of Working Moms Academy, because we feature working moms who are successful in business and in corporate. And today, we had the opportunity to interview Mama Erlea Rondario, the CFO of Consumer Johnson and Johnson Canada. Am I correct? Thank you again. Is there
Thank
any
you
last
very much.
words you want to say?
No, I just want to say I want to recognize to this group, whoever is listening, of Wanda's work. And I'm not saying this because you're a friend, but I'm saying this because you give this with kindness. You give this without return. And I just want to recognize you for all what you do. You never had all your toolkits in the beginning. You are a person that continue to learn, continue to be challenged, and equip yourselves where things can't be done by you. You delegate. And I think that's probably, I would say as well, to our moms that are listening today. Please do not do it all yourself, because we were not made to do everything. Multitasking is a negative item, though sometimes we do, and that's okay. But when it's important, multitasking doesn't really work. So don't be afraid to ask help, delegate, and if you're able, branch it out. Because when you're feeling that you're overwhelmed and you can't do it, that's your body and your universe telling you have to do differently. So don't be afraid to communicate, and appreciate yourself every day.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you for the recognition. And I know you do want to share something financially. So let us schedule something that you share some financial, training for Working Moms Academy, or for whatever. I know you're cooking something. You're
Yeah.
called to do something. This community is always open for you. When you're ready, we'll block the time. Kalas for Mama Leia only. Thank you again. Take care, Mama. Until we
Bye.
see
Thank you
you.
very much for the opportunity. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. God bless.